right, let's take you now to Mean Gene Okerlund in a rather unusual set of circumstances. Let's take you to Mean Gene.
The wall, it remains to be seen, but I've got to say this. I think Mullah's behind the whole thing, Wendy.
Oh, I do too, and I know she's digging up girls from everywhere that want this belt. Every woman in professional wrestling wants my belt, but I want it too, and I had to fight inch for inch to get this, and I'm not about to lay down on my back and let someone cover me.
I thank you very much. We're going to be right back.
Welcome back. We are here back from our little hiatus at TLP. We gave a little shout out there in the beginning to Mean Gene Okerlund, one of the legends of the biz, passed away earlier today. Very sad to hear that he is gone. As always, I am Walk, joined by my good buddy and co-host Mike. Mike, how's it going, man? How was your Christmas? How were your holidays?
Great vacation. Just got back from Nashville today. Feeling good. Feels great to be back in the studio. I got a little bit of ring rust, so if I'm a little rusty, give me some slack. You know how it is. How's your vacation? How was your break?
Mine was great. I actually left my mom's basement once, so that's the most I've left it in the past of all of 2018, actually. So I say I ended 2018 on a really good note. Hopefully we can get that number up to 2 for 2019.
Hopefully SmackDown or Raw or some kind of wrestling show comes to your city so we can get you out of that basement.
I would hope so. That'd be a good way to get out. It's probably the only reason I would actually leave anyway.
All right. Well, we had some wrestling happen actually over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long we've been gone. Why don't you get us started?
All right. Well, I figure since this is the first TLP episode of 2019, we should talk for a minute or two, not too long, about just some of our favorite things that happened over the course of the past year, 2018, in the world of wrestling, specifically WWE, as that is what we follow the most. So I think one of my favorites, at least, was one of the first matches or actually not one of the first matches, but it was the biggest match I still think of WrestleMania weekend that you and I were actually in attendance for. It was the Johnny Gargano Tommaso Ciampa unsanctioned match at TakeOver New Orleans. I still am in awe of that match, and just the saga that has been accumulating and building up since then, still one of my favorite things that has happened in 2018.
Yeah, there was a lot of great moments. A lot of wrestlers who had a really good run. I'm thankful for Rusev Day. Rusev got a championship match. He didn't win, but hey, he actually got a championship match. And we can talk about this later, but Rusev's a United States champion. He's back. Who else did we have rise? Well, we had Becky Lynch rise. She's still rising. We had a lot of people. I can't even think of it right now. Rey Mysterio's back. Randy Orton is having his heel date, his re-heel status. He's coming back. He's better than ever. Yeah.
Bobby Lashley, the Almighty. How dare you forget about Bobby Lashley?
We got 205 cruiserweights actually making jumps on shows now. Leo Rush, Mustafa Ali. I mean, there's a lot of moments that kind of stunk. We had Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho this year. We had a pretty good year.
It was good. It was a really good year. And never forget the rise of Becky Lynch. Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch at Evolution, I think, is probably my pick for match of the year on the main roster. I think you could probably pick a match from NXT that would beat it, but Flair versus Lynch at Evolution is my pick for match of the year. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, that match is definitely that's my match of the year for sure. I would say just the Evolution card in general, something to be thankful for, and the rise of the women's division. Yeah, I thought we had a good year.
Yeah, I'd say continued rise of the women's division for sure. I would not be afraid to put Evolution as the best pay-per-view of 2018 up there, to be honest with you.
It was definitely in the tops, that's for sure.
If it wasn't the best, I think the only other one that could possibly beat it was Hell in a Cell, but I still think Evolution was probably a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, we also had the return of Daniel Bryan this year, right?
Oh, we did. How could we forget the return of Daniel Bryan and then the new Daniel Bryan as well towards the end?
Yeah, the debut of the new Daniel Bryan. So, I mean, a lot of cool things happened this year. So much you can forget, so much you will try not to forget, and we're trying to remember right now. So I'm sure something else will come to our mind later in the show. But hey, that was 2018. It's time for 2019. It's time to build up the year. We have some big news for 2019. we'll talk about this way later in the show. AEW, what's that stand for?
All Elite Wrestling.
All Elite Wrestling. Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks, they have their new president. What's his name? Tony the Jaguars CEO.
It's the Jags president, yeah.
The Jags president, and I believe...
Or owner, it's the owner. Yeah, he's the owner.
And then the Fulham soccer owner as well. Huge, lot of money, huge for them. They're looking for a TV contract. We'll talk about that later in the show. But, I mean, a lot of huge news 2019 already. So, without further ado, get us going.
Tony Khan is his name, by the way.
Tony Khan, that's it. Yeah.
So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So the first pay-per-view, obviously, in 2019 is always the Royal Rumble. So a little bit of uncertainty heading into that. Mike, who do you think Ronda Rousey's next challenger is going to be? She's pretty much run through everyone that could potentially be, a threat to her on the road there. So what, in your mind at least, is next for her, and who's going to challenge her next?
I'm still holding out faith that we're going to see either Charlotte or Becky take her on a Royal Rumble. There may be something with Natalya, just because Natalya's kind of got the shot, but I don't know if they would give her a rematch. That's a little too much to ask for Natalya. But I don't know. I'm holding out faith, hoping it's going to be Charlotte or Becky.
I like that, but I just don't see how that's going to happen between now and the Royal Rumble. Like, I don't see how they would make that work between then, you know?
I agree. I don't know either, but you're right. I don't really know what we're going to do with Ronda Rousey right now. You might have a better idea than I do.
Well, I mean, my I guess wish was going to be either like Bayley or Sasha Banks, but I think that they're kind of saving them for the
tag team, for
the women's tag titles.
When is that? So, when are they going to show the belts? When are they actually going to have the belts?
I have no idea. I don't know when they're going to...
Do you think we could see a Royal Rumble Tag Team Championship, or do you think they'll save it? I don't think they'll save it all the way for WrestleMania.
I think it's going to be WrestleMania. I don't think it's going to be at the Royal Rumble, because they haven't even debuted the belts yet or started any real sort of build to it. And that kind of feels like something they need a really good build to, you know?
It's also going to be weird to see how they do it between Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, I think a while back, Becky Lynch kind of proposed that they do it's inter-brand between everyone. And so, like, anyone can challenge for the belts no matter what brand they're on. Yeah. So, I'm not really sure I'm not sure how they would do that, you know?
Yeah, I just don't know. It's going to be hard to establish a true number one contender in between each brand. It's just going to be weird.
It's going to be weird, but I think that brings a lot of potential to it, and we'll get to see a lot of, inter-brand matches between females that we don't always get to see, and it'll give the chance for more females to stand out. It's going to be good, but again, they have to do it right if they want it to be the best that it can be. So
I think it can.
Like everything else.
Yeah, I do believe it has a lot of potential. It's just going to be really tough to fully grasp all of its potential and make sure it's not awkward and bumping over people, and it's just like, we'll see. It's going to be hard. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to take some tough work. But the talent's definitely there. The talent's definitely there to get it going.
Yeah, you're right. All right, we'll move on then. We'll go in the direction of the SmackDown Women's title now, heading into the Royal Rumble. A little bit more on this front. There's a little, backstage show vignette thing on a SmackDown last night that showed, Triple H being very impressed with Asuka and asking her who she thought was the most worthy to challenge for her title, to which, of course, she gave the typical babyface reply of, I'll fight anybody. But I think that the people that showed up in there are very telling, and that being Carmella, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch all showing up saying, claiming that they had a claim to the title, which I think they all do. But I think that Charlotte will get her title shot, I think, again, just because she's Charlotte Flair, and another Charlotte versus Asuka is never going to hurt anybody. But I think I'd be more interested in seeing, Carmella and Asuka again, because I think that they had such a shitty match last time because they were, kind of felt like they were trapped into making sure Carmella retained, whereas now they might actually put on a decent match, not a great match, but a decent match, especially if they had some other people in there with them.
I think
or it could be a good way to put some other people, help Asuka put some other people over, like Sonya Deville is the first one who comes to my mind.
Yeah, I agree. What I was going to say was, yeah, Carmelo was kind of pigeonholed with the James Ellsworth crap, so it were kind of made for the match to be a little rushed, a little not taking it seriously. And I feel like now Carmelo and Asuka have way more popularity than they did then. I know Carmelo had a little good heel run, but I mean, right now I think they're way more over than they were back then.
I'd agree with that.
But I was going to say, I feel like we're going to get a number one contender match either next week or the week after, probably this upcoming week. And I feel like Becky and Charlotte will find a way to screw both of themselves out of the match, and it'll give way to either Carmella, Naomi, or Sonya Deville.
Yeah, I think Naomi already had her title opportunity as the first one Asuka defended against again, so I don't think that's going to happen.
Right. You're right. Yeah, that's true.
Even though I'd like to see that again. I think that they, again, with another pay-per-view, time slot, could put on a good match together, but,
yeah, I think that'll be a possibility, so.
Let's also, but while we're on the subject of Becky Lynch, because we always are on the subject of Becky Lynch, what did you make of her whole little thing with John Cena yesterday? She teamed with John Cena, for those of you that don't know, in a little mixed tag match with Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega, which they won, and it was very interesting. Becky had a point where she could have let, I guess, John Cena win, but instead Becky threw John Cena out of the ring and made Zelina Vega tap out to the disarmer. So that was an interesting little, I guess, thing for them to show.
I loved Cena coming back and him choosing to put over Becky. I think John Cena is such a great guy. He always does that he's done it recently for talent, trying to get them over. He did it for Roman recently. He's done it for... Who else did he do it for? I think he did it for AJ Styles. Now he's doing it for Becky. What he did for Becky, it's just nice to see that he comes out there. He has so much confidence in her. And then he said, all right, I want you to come out here. I want you to deliver the promo. She delivers as she always does. And then she gets to take John Cena out. She says, this is my time. This is my pin. I'm getting the pin. And then after the match... it was later. I saw this on Twitter. You can check it on our Twitter at TablesTLP. I retweeted John Cena in a little exclusive thing. He said just how much he loves Becky and all that she's doing, and he continued to put her over and say how phenomenal of a worker she is. And I mean, that's just really nice with John Cena. He doesn't have to do that. He's in Hollywood now. He doesn't even have to be back in WWE. He's just continuing to try and put over talent, which is a really classy move. And I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think that if he continues that as his main, his main role in the company is to be almost him being an enhancement talent for other people, then I think that would go further to cement his legacy as a wrestler than anything else he could do now.
He's got one more title run in him. He's got to break the record.
No, I don't think anyone's ever going to beat the Nate.
Well, they're tied, and I think they're going to give it to Cena.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe.
I think that's one of the ones you can't do that. You can't let anyone break the Nate's record. That's just a sign of respect. You don't break the Nate's record.
Yeah, Cena actually might be the kind of guy that would say, I'd rather be tied than take that from him.
I think he's already said that. I'll try to find the quote, but I think he's already said that.
Maybe. But, yeah, I mean, you can't overdo Cena putting people over, though. I mean, after a while, it's just going to become repetitive, and it'll get a little old. So you got to be real careful about that.
Yeah. I agree, I think, but I think that he still has, I was guessing I guess I was trying to more hint at, enhancement talent like he did with Becky Lynch, where he comes out and, still wins the match, but kind of eats his own shit a little bit to, help put Becky Lynch over, and, I mean, yeah, so that's what I was thinking more of, but...
Yeah, I mean, especially from Cena, who I don't know if this was out of Cena's power or if this was him being political in the background. He had notoriety, and he was notorious, at least. I'll say notorious. He was notorious for burying people, I guess. He buried Umaga, he buried Nexus, he buried a lot of people. I mean, and he didn't put a lot of people over, and that's like one of the criticisms he has. And John Cena, he'll get the shovel out and he'll just bury you. So I mean, it's good that now he can do that and he can enhance talent, which is real important. You need someone like that, a real veteran, a star that can really enhance their popularity. And I mean, with the ratings that SmackDown and Raw are in right now, they need all the help they can get.
Yeah, that's true. That's a really good point. I didn't think about that. That might be part of the reason he's doing that too, is to kind of help himself with that legacy of he's not going to do that anymore, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, well.
But yeah, I mean, it's good for Becky Lynch. Let's see where it goes from here. I don't know. I really hope she's in the Royal Rumble. I don't want to see her get the match with Asuka. Cause...
No, I don't either. I'd rather see her in the Royal Rumble. I think if we got a pretty big, we got a pretty good show of her last year in the Rumble. And I think that this year she could do even better and, possibly even win it, which would be huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I really hope she wins it. If not, I still think she'll end up being main event of WrestleMania. Somehow, some way.
Yeah, I think she'll figure out a way to do it. The time is right for her to be the main event of WrestleMania, but we'll definitely talk about that more later as it progresses.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so a weird storyline now, shifting to more SmackDown stuff. The whole Naomi, Mandy Rose, and Jimmy Uso storyline. Mike, I don't know about you, but I just want to go 1 year in pro wrestling in general, or just even WWE without like an infidelity or adultery storyline. Like, I kind of feel like that's just really, really old school stuff that no one's really into anymore.
It's definitely not progressing the feud. They're a little childish with it. You could do like some sort of love story and make it okay, but I mean, it's really tough to do, especially nowadays. And it's just something they did back then. And I don't know, it just doesn't really play that much anymore. I mean, it does play kind of into Mandy Rose's character, though. She's so egotistic, and then she just wants to play the beautiful role and like just be like the girl who tries to force the husband to cheat or whatever. It kind of plays into her persona, her character at least. I understand what you're saying, but I mean, it kind of plays to her character. And I'm not really against this rivalry. I like it feels like they actually hate each other, which is good. But they're going to go about it wrong on television.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think it would be more, I guess, in line with her character if we had seen something along the lines of like, okay, Mandy Rose is in a match against someone like Zelina Vega, and she uses her like charm, I guess, or whatever, like to I don't know, somehow like manipulate Andrade Almas to like do something in the match to where she wins or something like that, something where like this has happened before we get to a storyline like this where it's kind of like a little over the top, that's all I'm saying.
I agree with you. I know what you're saying. I just think it is kind of like her character, and it kind of plays at least it plays a little bit, unlike just other random stories like when we had Rusev, Lana, and Aiden English.
That's true. And this is better than that one. I'll give it that. This one's way better than that one.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, I hope they get a little bit more out of their storyline on television. Just get a lot more hate, and then maybe like if you do want to play on old school stuff, just have like an old school beatdown in the back. Go in the locker room. One of them just beats the other one up real good.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to make it old school, we'll make it old school. That's an easy thing to do, I think.
Go destroy the whatever car she drives. That's something Stone Cold would do. Just go smash the Rock's nice car,
Or just, take a cement truck and pour cement down her, I don't know, like put cement in her like bathrobe or something so she can't use it. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be something. Something. Just got to get, more moves to get in their head. That'd be cool. But WWE tries that a lot and they mess it up a lot. So keep it simple, but, keep it going. They got a good rivalry. Needs a little more action, but it'll get there. Just give it a little more heat.
Doing all right. I think you're right on that.
I like them both. I like both characters. So I mean,
I think Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are definitely two of the people that have I won't say like improved. Well, yeah, I will say improved. They've improved a lot over their time on the main roster this past year, and also have I'll say like come into themselves and look like they're just more comfortable and are being utilized better.
They also had to deal with Paige going out earlier in the year, and that was supposed to be their mentor, their role model, to help them ease the path for them in WWE. And she had that unfortunate incident, and she can't wrestle anymore, and that's tough to overcome. And they've found a way to get back on their toes, and they're making the most of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, good on them for going to SmackDown 2 from Raw and just making the most of it. Yeah, absolutely, like you said. So,
all right.
We'll move on now. So there's been some talk in these last couple of weeks, I guess last 2 weeks, really, about Vince McMahon wants the real AJ Styles. And Mike, I don't think Vince McMahon knows who the real AJ Styles is. Who the real AJ Styles is? Do you?
Before we get into this, did you see the segment last week when AJ punched Vince?
I did.
Can you believe? I kind of like that. I would never have thought Vince McMahon would let AJ Styles throw a punch on him. The old TNA star. Back in 2004, if someone would have told me that AJ Styles, 15 years from now, is going to be in a feud with Vince McMahon, or he's going to be involved in a storyline with Vince McMahon, I'd be like, okay, buddy. And then you're going to tell me that Dusty Rhodes' son is going to start his own wrestling company. Well, Dusty Rhodes is it his son? Stepson?
Yeah.
Son.
Yeah,
son.
Son. Yeah,
sorry, I got confused because of Dustin Rhodes. I got real confused there.
No,
they're
Dusty
both his
Rhodes.
sons.
That's his uncle.
I thought Dustin was also the son.
I don't think that's his uncle. Hang on.
I think they're both sons, and they just have different parent and moms. But anyway, then my joke was, I'd also think you're crazy if you told me Cody Rhodes was going to have his own wrestling program that's going to try and rival WWE and all these other New Japan and all these other independent shows, or not independent, but other wrestling shows.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you find out did you find it?
Yeah, they're both his kids. Never mind.
All right, but yeah, AJ Styles. Go ahead. Well, wait, go back to the little segment you want to get into.
All right. Well, so AJ, Vince McMahon has asked. He wants the real AJ Styles, and everyone's like, "Oh, you don't know who the real AJ Styles is." But I don't think anyone really knows who the real AJ Styles is, and so I did some sleuthing, if you will, some investigative reporting, since we are first and foremost journalists here. And so I found out a couple of possibilities, not many, just two. Two possibilities as to what the real AJ Styles actually is. Do you want to hear them, Mike?
Yeah, I think I'd love to hear him.
All right, so I have two theories. You're going to pick which one's the best one, all right? Number one, he is a struggling New York City hot dog salesman who is just trying to provide for his kids, a la Heath Slater here. He's got kids, he's got wife, he's just trying to make ends meet, all right?
What's his wife's name?
Wendy.
What is it?
Wendy.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, Wendy.
Go ahead.
All right. The second one is that he plays the dad on a hit kids TV series about a family's wacky misadventures. So those are my two theories. Both of these have been confirmed with me by differing sources. So I don't really know which one's right. So we're gonna have to, just figure it out on our own and go do some. We have to get a third source here. So you're my third source, Mike.
So you want me to answer what he is?
Yes.
Well, I have another. I heard this recently.
Boy. Okay, even better. Add some fuel to the fire. Let's do it.
He could potentially be a soccer mom living with his wife, Wendy, and they have a nice lesbian relationship. But Wendy's being tormented by an adulterer named Joseph, and Joseph is just always out proclaiming Wendy. So the soccer mom, she had to go take a little bit of PEDs, some performance-enhancing drugs. She got into wrestling. Now she's still soccer mom looking, but not as soccer mom looking. Put on the football gloves, and now just does Pele kicks like her son used to do.
I like that a lot better, actually. I think yours is much more thought out. Whoever got yours and reported yours is obviously correct because there's much more detail. So I like yours. I think that's a much better, more likely situation.
AJ's also a girl's name, so it kind of just makes sense. And I can see AJ Styles delivering a lot of orange wedges to their kids' soccer practices.
That's true.
So we found out who the real AJ Styles is?
we have found out who the real AJ Styles is now. So if that's the real AJ Styles Vince McMahon wants, then alrighty then.
Well, the other scenario is the real AJ Styles is the number one contender for the WWE Championship, which is really our scenario.
Well, that's just what Vince McMahon wants us to believe.
Oh, you think they're going to pull the rug from him?
They're going to pull the rug from him.
Ooh, I don't believe that, but we'll see.
Well, long story short is that we're about as good as figuring out who the real AJ Styles is as I am at running TLP's Twitter account, so you know.
Really good. Really, really good.
Really good is what that means. We're really good at it.
Did you watch the 5-man battle royal for the number one?
I did. It was really good. It was a really good match. It wasn't a battle royal. It was just a fatal 5-way.
Yeah, fatal 5-way. Battle royal's different. But yeah, shout out to Mustafa Ali getting all this time. I'm real pumped for Mustafa Ali. He's continuing to shine. I think one day he might actually get a title shot.
I was about to say that one thing I really, really liked and thought that match did really well was it. Everyone got showcased really appropriately. Like there were some really cool like matchups. Like you had Mustafa Ali and Rey Mysterio get some really cool spots together, and I just thought that the dynamic of the whole match, everyone again got spotlighted well. The bits were cool. Everyone got to give their little couple cents worth in the match, so to speak, and it turned out to be a really, really good match.
Really fun match, really enjoyable. Anything you want to add about SmackDown or Raw?
No, that's all I really had for this week.
All right, well, with that, we'll jump into AEW news. So it was announced yesterday that AEW, they have their president, Tony Khan. He's all in. Well, that's kind of funny. Kind of a pun right there. Didn't mean to say it like that. But hey, no pun intended. AEW, they have their man. They have their Ted Turner. They're ready. They're ready to go. I don't know if they're actually going to be that competitive with WWE, but we'll see. You don't want to put too much pressure on them at the go. But hey, good for wrestling. Walk, give me your takes.
First off, Mike, I'd like to say that was a great little pun you put in there. Certainly no ring rust on you. I'm very excited for this. If we're being honest, I really have only been a WWE fan, like avid follower, and I think part of that is because of ease of access to WWE. It's on like USA Network. It's easy to watch. They have their own streaming service, WWE Network, where they put all their pay-per-views on. It's cheap enough to where I can get all the pay-per-views for a fair amount of money. So I think if All Elite wants to actually compete with WWE, they need to make that kind of a focal point of their TV deals and their pay-per-views, is that they need to make them somewhat affordable and easy to access. So I think that both of those things are things that they can do, and I think that they're trying to do them as well. So, but yeah, so the people we have confirmed so far signed to All Elite Wrestling, Cody and Brandy Rhodes, obviously the Young Bucks, obviously they're the vice presidents of this, with Tony Khan being the president. Adam the Hangman Page and Britt Baker are the ones that we were able to find. There might be more by the time of that everyone else is listening to this, but those are the ones we have so far. Mike, what else are you thinking about all of this?
Well, I'm most excited about next week. I think next Tuesday is going to be the big deal because they're having their little, I don't know what you call it, I guess some sort of rally in Jacksonville. And apparently on the way to SmackDown Live, you're going to be able to see their little rally. They're doing their fundraising. They're doing just their little support for AEW. So every WWE fan is going to see this. And I don't know, that's going to piss Vince McMahon off for sure. I know that. We'll see what WWE does to counterpoint this. And I know Cody Rhodes, he has stuff under his sleeve. I've heard reports of they're going after WWE superstars who are unhappy with their booking, with how they've been portrayed. So we'll see who they can get. I also saw that Chris Jericho had an interesting Instagram post, something about February 1st. I think it wasn't actually Chris Jericho's page. It was his guy who makes his graphics, his graphic designer. He posted that in reference to Chris Jericho, and that'll be something February 1st. Don't know what that is. But man, I'm excited for AEW. I hope they get a good TV deal we'll see what they announce next Tuesday. I'm sure they got a lot of stuff they want to announce, especially with that importance of that date and where it's going to be at.
Yeah, I think that's going to be something to watch going forward. Is who they get from WWE. If I'm Vince McMahon, I'm actually kind of happy about this though. Competition always makes competition makes everyone better, and so I think if he's not going to lose any money from this. No one's going to stop watching WWE because Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks decide to make their own wrestling company. So I think that he needs to kind of just chill and use this to make himself better and his product better. Which last time we saw a competition like this, I would say maybe not a competition like this per se, but like a good level of competition for WWE was during the Attitude Era, and that's still regarded as the best time ever in at least the WWE. So
we'll see if they can get to that point. Yeah, we'll see what AEW does. I mean, they're gearing up for something like WCW. I would say that, I guess, in a sense, Cody Rhodes is their Sting right now.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. I didn't think about that.
I guess that's their guy right now. I mean, even though he's more working behind the scenes, but that's different. Also, you got to think during those times with WCW and WWE, you still had like ECW, you still had some other stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff still going on in Japan, so maybe this is going to just give rise to all wrestling. Hopefully, yeah, Ring of Honor can benefit. New Japan can benefit. Speaking of New Japan, Friday, Wrestle Kingdom 13. I don't know if anyone's going to be watching. I don't even know if I'm going to watch, but I might check it out. I might watch the day after and get the highlights. It does come on like at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to watch. My quick question though, what are some underutilized superstars in WWE you would like to see in All Elite Wrestling?
I would like to see Dolph Ziggler go over there, but I kind of like what Dolph Ziggler's doing now, but I could see Dolph Ziggler doing something. Shelton Benjamin.
He was a name I definitely thought of, for sure. You know a name that just popped into my head really quickly? The Revival. I would love to see the Revival go over there.
I would too, but I really wanted to see what the Revival can do in WWE. I know Revival and the Young Bucks will put on matches, but I want to see what the Revival can do in WWE. A non-WWE name that I like to see over there. He used to be a WWE name, Neville.
Oh yeah, there you go. Maybe. Well, I know he's the Dragon Gate champion right now, but I know you just said Neville. Never mind. I'm sorry. I thought you said Neville, and I heard Walter, who's like reportedly signed to WWE.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was about to say someone, and I just lost my train of thought. Oh, I want to see. Hopefully, when Jay Lethal's deal's up, I would like to see him go over there.
Yo, that would be good. I like Jay Lethal.
Yeah, Jay Lethal's the man.
I feel like shoot, if Chelsea Green hadn't just signed with WWE, she might have gone over there, because I know she and Britt Baker are like best friends, and that might be something she had done if she hadn't just signed with WWE.
I'm blanking on her name. Who is the girl that she got let go from WWE earlier this year? Pretty popular.
Oh, Tenille Dashwood,
Emma, yeah. Emma would be good.
Yeah, I think she's currently hurt right now. She's like injured. So, I'm not sure. Yeah, but she could be a good one to go to. I'm just trying to think of. I know they have exclusive deals though, so like they're not working together like with Ring of Honor or anything like that. Or they have the possibility, I think, of New Japan. They said, but it's kind of like nothing's really been decided yet. So
yeah, I know a lot of those guys. They do a lot of cross promotion stuff. So we'll see what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I'm sure they'll sign a lot of deals like that because they like those cross promotion stuff a lot. Let me see. I'm trying to think who else would be a good person over there. Let me go look at the roster real quick. Bobby Roode would be interesting. Chad Gable would be interesting.
Yeah. The current Raw Tag Team Champions. I'm trying to think. Maybe even someone like Zack Ryder. He hasn't even appeared on WWE in like a in like a year. He literally has not appeared in WWE
I
in
could
over
see
a
Zack
year.
Ryder doing that for sure, because he's
I
pretty
think
upset.
Zack Ryder is one of the guys that could do it for sure.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see him go over there. I'm sure they would go over there with him too, because I mean, he's been showing how upset he is. Oh, I saw someone else was upset recently. Metalik, he could be going that way. Maybe not. He can go back to Mexico or something.
Yeah, that's kind of where I would see him going.
Maybe
I don't think a
Kalisto.
whole lot of other people would really be going like other places, like anywhere right now, because I mean, a lot of people are like they may not be being utilized the way they like want to in WWE. I feel like, but they're still being like utilized, and they still always have that potential of like being, getting there at some point again. It's just like not, their time right now or their programming. Like not everyone can be in the main program all the time.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to look towards Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, but I don't know. I think they're happy with the money they're making right now, and I don't think they're going to be able to get that money.
I was about to say, I think that they're two that people would think would be going in over there, but I think that they're happy. I don't think that they want to leave.
Yeah, I know they would like to do something different, and I think they will get something different here shortly, and I'm sure they can use that to even leverage something. But I mean, I think they're making a good amount of money. They signed a pretty good deal when they came over from Japan.
They did. They really did.
So, I mean, there's a lot of names out there they can get, but there might be some older guys they can be looking at that we're not even thinking of. But, I mean, there's reports that there's guys in WWE that aren't happy. Maybe Zack Ryder. Maybe that's probably the big name.
I think he is the big name that they're probably going after, and a guy who's... I think he's, in my opinion, he's the guy most likely to leave.
Yeah. There could be some 205 guys possibly, too.
That's true. I don't really know a whole lot about 205 Live, though, so I won't really comment on that.
I'd like to see the Brian Kendrick go over there.
Okay. Interesting.
Anyway.
Mike, quick. Okay, this does bring up the inevitable question, though. Should you and I quit our jobs and go audition for All Elite Wrestling?
I would need to start training pretty quickly. I need to train. Maybe I could be announcer. We can audition for the announcing role.
Well, that was what I was thinking as well, because you and I have neither the physical prowess or the in-ring IQ to be big wrestling stars, but what we do have is the quick wit to be fantastic commentators, and I think that is where our talents lie.
Well, I'll send Cody Rhodes an email, see if he's interested. We can do a little cross promotion. We'll shout him out. He shouts us out. I scratch his back, he scratch mine, something like that. What's that?
TLP endorsements are very hard to come by, so I think that's something that he would definitely take to heart and would want to be a part of for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. I know he's interested. Then I'll even pitch him my idea. We get all his wrestlers and we create a football league.
Okay. Would this be what would we call it? Not the NFL. That's too close to something right there. We got to be almost like a parody of the NFL.
Yeah, and we can have cool creative nicknames on the back of our jerseys or something.
Yeah, almost. And since you and I like talking about dirty things so much and love this whole Mandy Rose storyline, maybe we should make it like an X-rated parody of the NFL. Maybe like the X NFL or something like that. The XFL maybe. I don't know. I don't really
know. You're getting close. We'll think about it. Could be some money there. I mean, there's definitely not a million other football leagues that are starting up that have the exact same idea.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about there. We're the first ones to ever have this idea.
Anyway, I did want to say one more thing. I forgot to mention this earlier. I kind of didn't even know that Sonya Deville had a finishing move until last night, and I thought it was pretty awesome. She didn't get it all the way, but I thought it was pretty sick.
I actually kind of agree with you on that. I didn't realize she had one either, and I'm glad she does, and I'm glad we got to see it, even if she did kind of botch it.
I think
not really, but she kind of did.
I think Naomi definitely didn't help her sell it, and I think she didn't get as much strength behind it, but yeah, could have been better.
Oh, well.
All right. I think that wraps it up.
Yeah, that about wraps it up for me as well. It was fun, guys. We're back. We'll be putting out new regular content again. Sorry for our little hiatus, but we're back and better than ever.
We'll have our episode up, I think next Tuesday after SmackDown. Are we going to be able to do that, our regular schedule?
Yeah, we'll be back on our regular schedule. Next week after SmackDown, we'll be putting up our next episode. Look for our live tweets of things. We'll be trying to put out some blogs as well in the new year. More blog content's what we're aiming for. That's our New Year's resolution. More
content suited to the fans. More of that. We're looking forward to that every single day. Monday Night Raw, we'll see how much Twitter stuff we get off because the college football championship's also going to be on.
Yeah.
So we'll have them both playing, hopefully, and we can still hopefully get some of you guys. I feel like we're not going to have many people watching Raw that night, but we'll figure it out.
Anyway, Mike, we need to come up with a new saying because if the revival does leave, can we still say top guys out?
Well, we say top bitches out.
Top bitches out. That's true. That's far enough away to where we can say that, right? Yeah, that's definitely.
Do we start something new in 2019? We'll come back to that. That can be a resolution we think about later. I still want to say top bitches out one more time.
All right. Well, we're definitely going to finish this episode on it.
All right. Top bitches out.
Top bitches out.
Did you like my shirt, Gene? You want to touch it? That's enough.
Hey, real good impression there, you prick. What about the rest of you pissants? Anybody else want to do impressions?
Hey, man, why don't you shut up? What do you call him?
Hey, blow it out your ass, O'Hare. I got guys that can take out your kneecaps.
Gene Okerlund with Ravishing Rick Rude and Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Gentlemen, as you know, the Ultimate Warrior. Fuck it. It's publicly stated that, damn it, who put that up? Is that $200 an hour?
I don't know what happened to that Gene Okerlund back there, but somebody's chasing him down.
This is a first right here. Yo, what the hell?
Home of the Rock That Bumper, brother.
Blow the
Oh, I love you.
We'll get you back up into the ring in just a moment or two for more exciting action.